Hello everybody, welcome back to another energy reading for the week of February 15th, 2021. So my name is Trisha Schinkel. I am your intuitive spiritual healer and coach from innerbuddha.ca. My job is to help you remember your greatness, everything about you, because the thing is, life can get overwhelming and we tend to overdo, overthink, give, all of that stuff, right? So it's my job to help you remember that you have given too much of yourself and to bring it back. So right now I am offering coaching. I have 4-month coaching that I have available for you. So if you're interested, let me know. So this week is very interesting, very interesting. I find when I tapped into the energy of this week, I felt like hibernating. That was the biggest thing that came up, was hibernation. You know, that cuddle up with a big warm blanket with your house coat on and you got your tea or coffee or hot chocolate or something by the fire, right? That kind of day, right? That's kind of what I'm feeling. That's what I'm picking up today. I don't know about you, but I definitely am. So if you're on live or the replay, let me know, say hi, let me know you're here. And if you're watching on YouTube, let me know you're here as well. Say hi. I'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah, hibernation. That's a good thing. You know what it really tells me where we're at is we're in the ebb of the flow. Because you know how there's a flow and then there's the ebb, right? The kind of step back, the kind of breathing room, that place where you can actually integrate everything that you have been doing, kind of taking in what has happened over the past couple weeks, right? Just kind of catching your breath, right? Just kind of in that space, you're like, oh, nothing's really required of me right now. It's more or less just getting into that place of allowing, right? And that's a really good place to be right now. And that's what I was really picking up when I was getting in there, which also then brings my attention to where in your life are you resisting this ebb that we're in right now? Because the ebbs are just as important as being in the flow. That's the biggest thing, right? So there's a lot of ways that you could be resisting it without even realizing it. Hi, Kim. Thanks so much for coming on. I love having you guys here. So just being aware of where you're cutting off the circulation, the flow in your life, right? Because I feel like we're in an ebb, but maybe you may not feel that way. Maybe you feel something else. Maybe you feel feeling stuck. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're feeling just blah, right? All of those places, by the way, are a good place to be. That's just telling you to take in, to integrate everything that's been happening. And today is that feeling of integration. So just maybe also pay attention to, you know, where you're holding back, where you're resisting, and start to become curious about that and say, why am I holding back? Why is it that I haven't done this thing for so long that I've always wanted to do? Why haven't I stepped through the fear? What's actually holding me back? Is it my stories? Is it belief? Is it who I am, my identity? Because if you, in your identity, if you are someone that doesn't take chances, that doesn't move forward, then that is basically why you're still holding yourself back, is because you're seeing yourself as a person that doesn't allow yourself to do that, right? And these are all sneaky little ways that your ego is just all going to try to keep you safe, try to keep you in the comfort zone, trying to keep you in this place of security. But it's not security. It's holding you back. It is actually detrimental. So I'm just bringing your awareness to that part of you, because it's really important to be aware of this. You don't really have to do a whole lot. Just be aware is the first step. That's it. So I did touch on being in a place of integration right now. So when I say integration, I would love to know from your viewpoint, what comes to mind when you think of integrating? Because for me, integration is kind of just allowing the energies that I've been collecting and asking for to come in. Because here's the thing, you can ask for anything from the universe. The universe is always going to prepare you and send it to you. As soon as you ask, it's yours. Your job is to be open for it to come in. right? To allow it to integrate into your energy fields. And that's the biggest step that people fail to realize, because when they're trying to manifest something in their life, they're trying to bring something in, they're trying to create something, you might be closing yourself off without even realizing it. And it's just the way you do that is trying to force things, trying to control things. That's how it shows up. You don't see it like that. You see it as, why isn't this working? You get frustrated, right? You get stuck in the emotion of what's happening, but you don't realize that the very act of trying to control something is resisting it because it's pushing it away. That's big. That's like the biggest monumental aha moment that I've ever had in my life. And I love sharing that because it really lights up an area where you can open up to abundance, open up to riches, open up to things that you thought were never possible for you because you kept telling yourself that you couldn't have it, or you didn't deserve it, or you would never be the one to have these things. But guess what? You are all worthy and deserving of everything you ever wanted and more. It's just a matter of changing your belief around it. And that might be changing your identity, knowing that you are a person who does go for things that they want in their life. You are the person that wants these things and you deserve these things, right? Such a big shift. So what really came up, one thing when I was, because before I get into these readings, I like to journal out and I like to kind of get in tune with the energies and figure out, what messages are coming through. One phrase that came to me was, sit back and be amazed of the simple things. And that's one way that you can really integrate all this energy coming in, right? This healing energy, we're in a place of an ebb. We're in this place of just being, just enjoying it, right? Whatever it is, the simple things. The simple things is really small and can be very easily missed, right? But if we stop and really take into consideration the simple things in life that really make it worthwhile, like, your body can breathe without you having to tell it to do so, right? Your digestive system digests without you having to tell it to do so. It just happens. These are simple things that just happen, and we don't even, take a minute to realize the magnificence of that, right? So it's just a matter of, even thinking about a seed that you plant in the ground. That seed already knows, it's already pre-programmed to exactly what it is it's going to create, right? All you have to do is put it in the ground and give it a little love and attention, and it will do its job. It'll do it without you telling it to have it to do so. It'll just do it automatically. These are simple, miraculous things that we so often dismiss because it's everyday mundane, right? We see it all the time, but this is the time we're in this ebb of the flow that we can take into consideration these little tiny things that make up this entire world. There's so many things around. It's just a matter of kind of tuning into it, shifting your awareness, shifting your focus to these things, right? And that's what I kind of do. I like to do is with these readings is kind of shift the focus and kind of give you different things to pay attention to. Those are things that are going to start to grow. Because the more you focus your attention on these things, the more you're going to bring them in, the more you give it life, right? The more energy you feed anything, whether it's good or bad, it's going to grow, right? So the same things with all the other things in your life. So one thing that did come to mind was to remember to relax. Now I like this idea that I got. These are all things that I've gotten from my guides. Is that we all human beings, we have a tendency to daydream while we are forcing ourselves to do things that we don't want to do. We'd like to daydream about relaxing, just to daydream about it. And then when you actually have a chance to relax, you can't, because we're so used to go, 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 push, 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 got to get this done. If I don't do this, nobody else will kind of mentality, right? But so often you don't relax unless you have a reason that you have to relax. And most often that reason to relax is a sickness or an illness or, anything that'll just force your body to stop, But the whole idea of not getting to that place is allowing yourself to relax and scheduling in that time of relaxation and allowing yourself to take that time to relax. That honestly is one of my biggest detriments. That's one thing. This weekend, I don't have a lot going on. You know, the plan was to stay at home and you know, spend time with the family, and that's what we've done. We've spent a lot of great time together, but today I was kind of getting a little antsy, and then I remembered, I'm like, oh right, I have my video so that I can get that out. But that's the thing, is it's a practice. It's a practice of relaxing and knowing that you don't have to wait for that big sickness or illness or accident. Sometimes that's the thing too, is that your body needs it. The energy that you're calling in is calling for an accident to happen. That's why these small insignificant things happen when you bump your toe or get in a car accident, or, you know, that's a bigger thing obviously, but those things happen because your energy has been calling it in, because you need a break. You need to take a break, but you refuse to. You're cutting yourself off. You're convincing yourself that, oh, I'll do that later. But that's the thing. We never ever gonna get to later, because it's always now. We're always in the now. We don't have a future. There is no past. Everything's always happened in this present moment where we are at this time. And that's the hardest thing, I think, is to grasp, is that there is no future. There is no past. There's only now, the here and now. Where are you? I'm here right now. That's it. That's all we ever have. And so often we get lost in that thought of, you know, I'll do that later, I'll push it off. Procrastination is a form of fear. And the fear comes from a belief about whatever it is that you're avoiding. It's always something that's holding you back. And it's always interesting to kind of dig deep underneath those fears and see what's actually holding it. So the one thing that really tuned in was, you know, what seeds would you like to start growing yourself right now? Because right now is the perfect time, because it's, you know, we're getting into springtime. I know I was looking at my vegetable garden and I'm like planning it out, and now's the time where I want to know, you know, what I'm putting in where, and, you know, starting to get the ideas flowing, starting to get that moving. And then I realized, I'm like, this is not only the time to start a physical garden, this is also a time to start your energetic garden as well. Right? Springtime is a great time to start planting, to start seeding, to start sprouting those ideas, those things that you want to manifest or bring into your life, the way you want to feel. You can start feeling that way now. Bring that in, because that's the only way that you're ever going to get whatever it is you want, is start feeling the energy like as if it's already here, and feeling what it's like to get to that place where you want to be, right? For me, personally, I want to get to Mexico, but there's a travel ban, so I can't quite do that, right? So the other day, me and my son went for a walk, and it was very, very cold. It was not a smart idea to go for a walk, but I needed to get up. And I said to him, I said, okay, so what are we going to do when we get to Mexico? What are we going to see? What are we going to eat? What is the first thing that we're going to do, right? And we started playing with the idea and getting into this energy. And before we knew it, we got around the block, and it wasn't as cold as we thought it was anymore. And we started growing these seeds of excitement and joy. And hi, Karen, thanks so much for jumping on. Thanks so much for being here. So that's the thing, is just playing with the ideas. What seeds do you want to sprout? What do you want to dream of? What do you want to grow? What do you want to bring in, right? Just getting familiar with that and getting into that place more often. So I like to talk about Mexico, even though there's a travel ban and I'm not allowed to go, but people like to tell me what I can't do. But you know what? I'm going to tell you what I can do. And that is play with my imagination, because you know what? It's fun and it brings you up. And once you get into that energy, you start attracting those things that make you feel that way on a more consistent basis. So big, so big. Okay, so talking about energy, I'm gonna bring out my Sacred Geometry Activations deck. This deck, I'm going to ask a very simple question. We want to know, what energy do we need to attune to this week to allow ourselves to be in the ebb of the flow? Because we work so hard trying to get into the flow. But the thing is that it's not hard work. You just being in the flow is allowing, right? Being in the ebb is also allowing. So I want to know, what energies do we have to activate to allow us to be in the ebb? This card came up really quick. Let's see what it is. So in the ebb is conception. So obviously when you think of conception, you think of making babies, right? That could be it, but not quite. Conception. So being in the energy of conception, so that's, think about it, it's creation. Being in that creative state, right? Bringing in the energy of creating. Think about when you're in a project or you're doing something, you're baking something or cooking something or crafting something or whatever it is that you get really into, lose hours of time at, right? You're at the very conception, at the very beginning of this creation, there's that spark of intriguing and, you know, excitement and wonder of what's going to come out of it. How is it going to turn out, right? It's going to turn out exactly the way you feel. The energy that you're putting into it is what you're going to get out of it, right? When you cook with love, you can taste the love in the food when you eat it, right? So that's the very same thing as anything in your life. Put the love into whatever activity or project that you're working on. So the card itself, it says the frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness into the origin, into the beginning. Bring your consciousness, bring your awareness to the beginning, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps you to remember the infinite potential of possibilities of space that we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention, right? So that's really important. It's remembering the infinite potential of possibilities. There's a limitless supply of possibilities of the way anything can go, and it's all based on the energy that you put into it, right? So it's really about being aware of the energy that you're holding at any point in time. Today, I'm going to give you permission to be lazy, to relax, to enjoy, to let things just happen and be amazed by the simple little things that happen. That's what you're being invited to do today. So find that space that you can manifest through your own focused awareness and intention. So again, planting the seeds. What seeds do you want to start growing this year for yourself? Where do you see yourself going? What do you see you getting out of this year, right? You don't have to do monumentous things. You just have to start bringing awareness and your attention to these areas that you want to start growing and bringing more in, right? That's really important. Okay, so I'm just going to grab another deck here, and we're going to continue on telling this story. I feel like there's a little bit more to come out of this. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is interesting because this is almost similar to another reading I did before. Wake Up Call was the next one. And basically you can use this reading today as your wake-up call, as you bring your awareness back into what you want to create, right? Wake up to allowing yourself to feel good about it. Because so often we start feeling good and then we remember a reason why we shouldn't, or something gets in the way or distracts us, and we allow that distraction to bring down the mood, right? Something bad happens, so we're like, oh great, of course this happens, every time this happens, Murphy's Law, right? Well, this is your wake-up call to say, Murphy's Law is only a law because you say it is, because you keep repeating that story again and again. That's it. It's just being aware of what you're creating with your words. That's huge, so huge. The next card was be decisive. Be decisive in what you want, right? Be decisive in what you want to bring in, what you want to manifest, what you want to create with the seeds that you're planting, right? Being aware that who you're doing it for. Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for some other people to make them happy? If you're doing it for other people to make them happy, is it really working? Or are you still trying to control the situation in some way, right? That's the biggest thing. So those are the cards that came out for today. Now I'm also gonna just quickly grab my animals deck, because last week was a funny week. Last week was the donkey, but that was a really good message. I had a really great undertone to it. So I'm excited to see what comes out this week. It's very interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna ask for our angels and our guides to step forward and bring us the message for this week. The guidance, animals, and symbolism, your totem poles, they all have very big, significant meanings in our lives. And it's about just kind of tuning in to that meaning. What is it trying to tell you? What is it trying to bring in, right? Oh, here we go. Here. Whew. Interesting. So this week is the giraffe. That is fun. Giraffe. So the card itself, it says, aspire to higher knowledge and wisdom. Aspire. It's interesting because you see around behind the giraffe itself, you can see almost like the energetic web that surrounds the earth grid, right? It's an energetic grid that carries energies, and that's how we're all connected, is through this grid. So it's depicting it behind the giraffe, which is interesting. The giraffe itself is a very spiritual animal because it holds a lot of spiritual truths. Okay, let me just see what it says in the book. Here we go. I keep going past it. Okay, we're gonna get there, I promise. Okay, so the guidance. It says, when you receive this card for a higher wisdom, it suggests that you look beyond the limitations of your current circumstances and situations. Continue to fill your day with commitments and responsibilities diligently, while you're exploring life from a higher perspective. So basically, it's just reminding you to kind of take a step back and look at things from a different angle. And it's a practice, because you're going to start doing it little bits here and there. And when you're creating a new habit, you have to do it consciously, right? Eventually, it'll just become autopilot, and you'll just do it automatically all the time, right? But it's when you're changing over, it takes a little bit of work, and just know that. So it says, you may see things very differently. Interchange the inevitability will continue to follow. This is automatic reflection of the world. So whatever you're seeing outside of yourself, when you look into the world, whatever it is that you're seeing, the world is reflecting back to you what you are hiding inside, right? And so whatever it is, it's drawing your attention to show you what you're reflecting and projecting out to the world, right? So the card itself for the giraffe, it says, you are being asked to tune into your home planet, to sleep in meditation, and to connect with the ray of truth, so that you can understand the truth of the wisdom of your own soul. So the giraffe wisdom reminds you to act graciously with dignity, serenity, and balance at all times, and this will enable you to fulfill your dreams and your destiny. Stand in your power as the point of light. That is the reminder of the giraffe this week. So, okay. That is very interesting. So really, the takeaways this week is that right now we're in an ebb to the flow. And if you don't feel like you're there yet, we are getting there. It's this slowing down, this place of integration, this place of deep thought, deep reflection. And we're also coming to the end of Mercury retrograde too, which is another shadow period. So the shadow periods are perfect opportunities to kind of really get in tune with what's here, what's on this mind, not this mind, this mind, what's in here. Start thinking from your heart. Start thinking from what makes you feel good, and start integrating more of that into your life. That's the biggest thing. All right. Well, that's it for me this week. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. And if you have any questions, or, if you have anything that you really connected to with this message, I would really love to hear it. So feel free to share that in the comments. All right. So I send you so much love and so much light, and I wish you the best all this week. Take care. Much love.